Welcome to the Cenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're attempting something pretty ambitious. We're trying to journey deep into the part of your mind that, well, it functions entirely without your permission or even your awareness.
The unconscious mind, the silent engine.
Exactly. The operating system running behind, every conscious thought or decision you think you're making.
And it's a huge topic. I mean, the research goes way back, early 20th century, lots of controversy.
Right.
And then stretches right up to modern brain imaging, giving us actual data.
It's fascinating because we all feel like we're in control, don't we?
We do. That's the default feeling.
Yeah.
But the sources we're looking at, they consistently suggest that a massive chunk of what we do,
Like what?
well, everything from simple daily habits, brushing your teeth, to really complex emotional reactions, even big life decisions, a lot of that is guided by this super efficient silent system.
Okay, so that's the big question for this dive then. If we're not always consciously running the show, what is? And how do we even, define it?
Good starting point. Let's get a working definition. The unconscious is basically all the mental processing that happens without you being directly aware of it.
Okay.
It's the background operations, constantly storing stuff, connecting dots, processing information, and all that influences how you act, choose, feel.
And historically, you got to mention Freud, right? He's the one who really put it on the map.
Absolutely. Can't avoid him. He really popularized the idea, though his view was often darker.
How so?
He described it mostly as this deep reservoir, like a vault storing thoughts, memories, desires that were too painful or maybe too socially unacceptable to keep in conscious awareness.
So for Freud, it was kind of this mysterious, maybe even dangerous, hidden force behind our problems, our neuroses.
Yeah, that was often the implication, that secret enemy or dark vault idea.
Yeah.
That's kind of what's stuck in pop culture, I think.
But that's not quite how modern science sees it anymore, is it?
No, not really. Modern psychology, and especially neuroscience, they've shifted the perspective quite a bit. Today, researchers see it less as, a basement full of repressed trauma.
Right.
And more as a highly sophisticated, incredibly efficient processing system.
Efficient half.
It's the part of the brain that automates things. Habits, learned skills, recognizing patterns instantly. It's not a flaw or a dark place. It's actually essential for us to just function day to day.
It handles the sheer volume of input, so our conscious mind doesn't just, crash.
Exactly. It prevents overload.
Okay, let's dig into that efficiency idea.
Yeah.
Because the amount of processing power we're talking about is just staggering.
It really is.
If we had to consciously manage every single thing our brain does, we'd be exhausted before we finish breakfast.
Oh, definitely.
So how does this background system actually automate life?
Well, it starts with the basics, the biological stuff. Your unconscious handles all those routine, involuntary bodily functions. Breathing, digestion, your heart rate.
Stuff you never think about.
Right. You don't dedicate a single conscious thought to it. It just runs. That frees up your conscious mind, reduces the cognitive load.
But the really interesting part for, everyday life is the automation of routines and skills. The things we learn and then stop noticing we're doing.
Precisely. Think about just leaving the house, grabbing your keys, locking the door, maybe driving your usual route to work.
Yeah, total autopilot sometimes.
Exactly. Those actions probably required focus at first, but now they're automatic habits, handled by the unconscious. It frees up your conscious brain to worry about, the meeting you're going to or a problem you need to solve.
If you had to consciously think through every step of brushing your teeth each morning...
It would be exhausting. Simple routines would feel overwhelming.
Okay, so that efficiency comes with a trade-off, right? This connects to memory, specifically procedural memory.
Yes, absolutely. The unconscious is this massive storage system for learned skills. Procedural memory.
Like riding a bike or typing.
Perfect examples. Once you master it, it becomes second nature. You're not thinking, okay, left foot down, right foot up, or which finger hits T. The skill just runs automatically from this unconscious storage.
And that kind of memory is really persistent, isn't it?
Incredibly sticky. Which brings us back to that trade-off you mentioned. The same efficiency that locks in good habits, like automatically putting on your seatbelt, Also makes bad habits really hard to break. Things like smoking or, constantly checking your phone or even negative thought patterns. They become deeply ingrained.
Because the unconscious doesn't judge. It just optimizes whatever pattern it's given.
Exactly. It just runs the program efficiently. It takes real conscious effort to override and rewrite that program.
So the efficiency is actually what makes changing habits so difficult. The system's running smoothly. Why would it want to change?
It doesn't. Inherently, it prioritizes efficiency over everything else.
Okay, this is where it gets really juicy for me. If this engine is running silently in the background, how do we even catch glimpses of it? How does it, bubble up into our conscious life?
That's a great question. We see it surface in a few common, sometimes surprising ways. Dreams are, the classic example.
Right, the window into the unconscious.
Yeah, traditionally seen that way. And maybe they are, in a sense. Showing the unconscious mind, sorting through memories, processing emotions, maybe working on unresolved stuff from the day.
But what about when we're awake?
Well, I think one of the most relatable examples is creativity. That sudden flash of insight.
The aha moment. Usually when you're not even trying, like in the shower or something.
Exactly that. You hear it all the time from artists, scientists. They struggle hard with a problem, consciously hitting a wall, then they step away, do something totally unrelated.
Go for a walk.
Right. And bam, the solution just appears. That aha moment is often the unconscious mind finishing its background processing, connecting the dots until the answer is fully formed and pops into awareness.
Okay, but what about some of the, let's say, more controversial Freudian ideas, like slips of the tongue, Freudian slips? Is there any modern basis for that, or is it just, pop psychology?
That's fair. We've definitely moved past the idea that every single slip reveals some hidden, scandalous desire.
Right, like you accidentally call your boss mom or something.
Yeah, probably not that dramatic usually. However, cognitive science does show that slips of the tongue do happen because of competing processing streams in the brain.
Okay, explain that.
So imagine you're really anxious about a presentation. You have that unconscious anxiety running in the background. That stream can actually interfere with the conscious stream trying to produce careful speech.
So the anxiety slips out linguistically.
Sort of. The brain is maybe prioritizing processing the anxiety or just gets momentarily overloaded and speed wins over accuracy. So while not necessarily revealing a dark secret, these slips do reflect genuine, active, but non-conscious processing going on.
That makes sense. It's like a system glitch caused by internal static.
A good way to put it. And then there are the really powerful, sometimes instant emotional triggers.
Oh, yeah. Those can feel like they come out of nowhere.
They're maybe the most direct evidence we experience daily. The unconscious constantly pulls from past experiences to shape our immediate emotional responses, often way faster than our conscious, rational mind can catch up.
Like suddenly feeling uneasy in a place that looks totally safe.
Exactly. You might feel, a weird sense of dread walking down a certain kind of street. Consciously, you know it's fine, but maybe it triggers an unconscious memory of a time you felt scared in a similar setting, even if you don't actively recall that specific memory.
Or the opposite, right? Like a smell.
Oh, smells are incredibly powerful triggers.
Yeah, like a certain perfume or maybe cut grass, and suddenly you get this huge wave of nostalgia.
Yes. Linked to maybe a person or an event you haven't consciously thought about in ages. That's the unconscious, associating the sensory input with stored emotional data and bringing the feeling right to the surface.
It shows how strongly that stored data guides our mood and reactions, often completely bypassing our conscious control.
Definitely.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit from these sort of glimpses and theoretical ideas to the hard science. What does modern cognitive neuroscience tell us? What's the measurable biological evidence for this silent engine?
This is where it gets really solid. Advances in brain imaging, fMRI, and EEG, and so on have really transformed the field. We now have strong scientific evidence that the unconscious isn't some mystical force. It's a measurable system baked into our neural pathways.
So when we talk about automatic processing,
We're talking about visible shifts in brain activity.
like the driving example, the familiar route.
Exactly. When you're driving that route, you know by heart, brain scans show less activity in the prefrontal cortex, your conscious control center, and more reliance on other areas handling the routine. Your brain is literally on autopilot.
Freeing up the conscious part for other things.
Right. Until something unexpected happens, like a car suddenly braking in front of you, then boom, the conscious system kicks back in instantly. The autopilot is efficient, but it stays vigilant.
And then there's something called implicit memory. Sounds intriguing.
It is pretty cool. Implicit memory affects your behavior without you consciously remembering the source of the influence.
How does that work?
Well, the typing example is partly implicit, how to do it without consciously recalling learning each key. But maybe a more striking example is advertising. You might see an ad very briefly, barely notice it, but later find yourself feeling more positive towards that brand without knowing why. The memory is implicit. It's influencing you below the radar of conscious awareness.
Wow. Okay, that leads us straight into decision-making and these things called cognitive biases. Mental shortcuts, basically.
Exactly. The unconscious creates these shortcuts or heuristics to help us process the overwhelming amount of information we face every day. They're usually efficient, but they can definitely lead us astray.
Any examples?
Sure. Think about confirmation bias. Your unconscious might subtly guide you to pay more attention to information that confirms beliefs you already hold and ignore stuff that challenges them. It feels easier, more efficient.
Or liking familiar things just because they're familiar.
That's another one. Familiarity bias. We often prefer things we know, even if a new option might actually be better. The unconscious defaults to the known quantity. It's a shortcut.
And emotionally, you mentioned the brain's alarm system, the amygdala.
Yeah, the amygdala. It's deep in the brain, part of the older, more primitive emotional system. Neuroscience shows it can detect a potential threat and trigger a stress response, fight or flight, literally milliseconds before your conscious cortex even figures out what the threat is.
So you feel the fear before you even know why you're scared.
Precisely. The physical reaction, the adrenaline rush, can start before conscious awareness catches up. Biology reacting first.
Which brings us to maybe the most mind-bending finding you mentioned earlier. The decision paradox. This really bumps up against ideas of free will, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's one of the most debated and, frankly, unsettling findings in neuroscience.
So what did the study show?
Well, using brain scans, researchers looked at people making simple choices, like deciding whether to press a button with their left or right hand.
Okay.
They found detectable brain activity predicting which button the person would press, up to several seconds before the person reported consciously making the decision.
Wait, seconds, not milliseconds.
Seconds. It's a significant gap. It suggests that the neural processes for the choice initiate unconsciously, well before our subjective feeling of having decided comes online.
So my brain decides, and then a few moments later, I become aware of the decision it already made.
That's one interpretation, yeah. It's like the unconscious engine starts the process, prepares the action, and then conscious awareness is sort of notified after the fact, like reading the sent email confirmation.
Wow, okay. That raises a pretty big question then. If this silent engine is managing our body, storing skills, running habits, maybe even initiating choices, should we be afraid of it? Should we be trying to, wrestle it into submission?
That's the crucial misconception to clear up. Because Freud initially focused on repressed conflicts, the unconscious got this reputation for being inherently negative or dark.
Right, the scary basement.
Yeah, but that's not the whole picture, not at all. It's essential for survival. Think of it more like a supportive, highly efficient assistant. It stores positive emotions, learned confidence, helpful patterns, just as much as difficult memories. It's fundamentally about adaptation.
So not an enemy within.
Not by default, no. It's necessary for us to function, to thrive.
Okay. Before we talk about influencing it, can we quickly clarify the terms? People often use unconscious and subconscious interchangeably. Is there a difference?
Yeah, it's a common confusion. Generally, in cognitive science, unconscious refers to processes that are truly outside awareness, like your brain regulating blood pressure or the complex calculations involved in catching a ball. You can't access that processing.
Got it.
Subconscious is usually used more loosely, often referring to things that are just below the surface of awareness but could be brought to mind, like maybe the name of your third-grade teacher or a phone number you used to know. It's not currently conscious, but it's potentially accessible.
So we're really focused on the deeper, truly inaccessible unconscious engine here.
Primarily, yes, though the lines can blur in everyday language.
Right. So if this deep engine is so powerful and largely inaccessible, how on earth do we influence it? You can't just tell it, hey, unconscious, stop making me procrastinate.
No, direct commands don't work, but you can influence it indirectly. The key is bringing aspects of its operation, its patterns, into conscious awareness.
Shining a light on it.
Exactly. You reshape those automatic patterns by consciously paying attention to them and choosing differently. You can't control the engine directly, maybe, but you can adjust the steering and the destination.
what are the best ways to do that? How do we shine that light effectively?
Well, mindfulness and meditation are consistently highlighted. These practices train your conscious mind to just observe your automatic thoughts, feelings, and impulses without immediately reacting.
Creating a pause.
Precisely. That pause creates a space, a moment where the conscious mind can say, okay, I see that automatic pattern, but I'm going to choose a different response this time. Over time, that conscious intervention can start to rewire the automatic loop.
Interesting. What else?
Reflection and journaling are also really powerful. By regularly writing about your experiences, your feelings, your reactions, you start to see the patterns emerge.
You spot the triggers.
Right. You might notice, every time X happens, I feel Y. You're basically taking the output of the unconscious processing and making it explicit, bringing it into the light where your analytical mind can work on it.
In therapy. I assume that fits in here too.
Oh, absolutely. Many forms of therapy are specifically designed to help uncover these deep-seated unconscious patterns, understand their origins, and develop healthier ways of responding. It's like having a guide to help you navigate and reprogram that assistant.
So wrapping this all up, this has been a huge deep dive. The main takeaway seems to be that the unconscious mind isn't some spooky closet of skeletons.
Not primarily, no.
It's this incredibly efficient, silent engine that powers so much of our lives, our survival, our habits, our ability to adapt and function.
Yeah, it shapes how we think, feel, and act, often running ahead of our conscious awareness. From basic routines to moments of creative insight, its influence is just immense.
But the hopeful part is, by recognizing it's there, by learning its rules, so to speak,
through things like awareness, reflection,
you actually gain some leverage. You can start to intentionally reshape habits, make more conscious choices, even if the initial impulse came from somewhere deeper.
Exactly. It's not about achieving total control, which might be impossible anyway. It's about working with this powerful system, learning to guide its efficiency towards the goals you consciously choose.
So it's about recognizing the power of this silent partner, and then consciously setting the direction, letting it support you in becoming maybe your most intentional self.
Well put.
Okay, so here's our final thought for you, the listener, to take away from this dive. If the unconscious thrives on habit and efficiency, what's one automatic pattern, maybe one deeply ingrained reaction or routine in your life, that you're ready to start shining a conscious light on today? What might you begin to intentionally rewire?
Thanks for tuning in to the Cenario podcast. Don't forget to visit Cenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.